guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And my co-host, Pima. For those of you newer to the channel, Pima is one of my 4 miniature dachshunds who also suffers from a little bit of separation anxiety, which causes her to be extremely loud and naughty upstairs when I am trying to do my videos, and you don't want to listen to her bark while I'm chattering on. Anyway, so she's going to be my kind of sleepy co-host for tonight's segment, which is actually a Criterion segment, because as you know, Barnes & Noble is still running their 50% off Criterion sale, both in-store and online, until December 3rd. So if there are any titles you're interested in, or even things that you want to pick up for people as gifts for the upcoming holiday season, now is a great time to do it. So I'm going to try to make these segments as informative as possible. I don't do as many pickups in November, so what I'm going to be doing is concentrating more on the review aspect to help you guys make more informed purchases and decide which titles you're interested in. Speaking of which, if there are any films that you're particularly interested in, please let me know in the comments, because if I have them in my collection, I'm more than happy to do reviews on them to help you guys out with your shopping. And stay tuned to the end of the video, because I have a Criterion giveaway for you guys that I'm really happy to be able to do, and I hope you guys are happy with the title that I am giving away. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to do my pickups first, and then I'll go into the review segment. And this first one is my latest acquisition. I know it's a really popular film. It's one that I love, and I know a lot of people love it. And I think it's the best packaging I've ever seen on a Criterion release. It is Spine number 948, The Princess Bride. And they did it just like a regular storybook. It's a cloth book. It's a legit book. And I think they did such a great job with this. You can see the cover there. And then on the back it says, "As You Wish." And then when we go in, it is set up just like a storybook. You have the title. It has really nice pictures in it. You have chapters, and they tell you, basically they're telling you about their essays about the movie, but they set it up in a storybook fashion. But really well done. I mean, they really put a lot of thought and care and time into this release. And I'm happy they did, because the movie is so deserving of this. It's such a popular movie and such a good movie. But yeah, if you're a fan of The Princess Bride, and this is how they house the Blu-ray in the back. If you're a fan of The Princess Bride, or you know someone who is and you want to pick it up as a gift, this is definitely the edition you want to get. It doesn't disappoint. I did pop it in and check out the transfer. It looks great. It's flawless, and you're going to be really happy with it. So yeah, Princess Bride is my first pickup. And my next one comes to us from the director of The 400 Blows. I am a big fan of The 400 Blows, so I was just curious to see what other films this director had in the collection, so I decided to pick this one up because it got really high marks. It is Spine number 769, Day for Night. So I grabbed that one. And this one has a brand new 2K digital transfer. So hopefully it'll look good. It's from 1973. It is in color. And it is French with English subtitles. So when I actually sit down and take a look at this, I will include it in an upcoming review segment. And the next one, this is one that I've heard about quite a bit, and so many of you recommended it to me on the channel with the last Criterion round that we did. I couldn't pass it up. And when I read the synopsis, it definitely sounded like a film I'd be interested in. It is Spine number 894, The Piano Teacher. And this one is from 2001. It is French with English subtitles, and it comes with a new high-definition digital transfer. It has some interviews, selected scene commentary, behind-the-scenes footage. So it doesn't have a huge amount of extras, but it's enough. I mean, usually for me personally, if the film holds up, then I'm fine with it. If I really, really love the film, then I really dig into the extras. But sometimes I just skim through them. But I'm more about the films, but I know a lot of people love the extras, so I try to include those in my commentary. But yeah, The Piano Teacher, I'm really looking forward to checking that one out. And this one was a suggestion to me, a viewer suggestion. This is a total blind buy. It is film number Spine number 896, The Lure. And the reason this was suggested is because of the horror content I did last month and am continuing to do. And the viewer told me that if I like Criterion and I like horror, that I would really enjoy The Lure. And supposedly the music is very good in this as well. And all I know about it is it has to do with two girls that want to be mermaids. So it sounds like an interesting concept, and horror and Criterion, generally, I don't think you can go wrong, because usually the titles that end up in the collection are quite good, and I am really looking forward to sitting down with this one. And these next two are because I am a huge fan of this director, and actually one of the movies that I'm going to review is another one from this same director, whose name I am going to butcher, and I apologize. It is Yasujiro Ozu, and if I have said that wrong, please tell me in the comments. Do it phonetically, because that's how I function best. And this first one is Spine number 446, an autumn afternoon. And Late Spring happens to be one of my go-to films in the collection. I just love it. I adore it. And I am actually going to review it in my review segment, but this is another film by the same director, and I just had to pick it up. It's from 1962. This one happens to be in color. It's in Japanese with English subtitles. And this one has a new 4K digital restoration, has a little bit of audio commentary and some excerpts from a French television show, but that's about it. There's not a lot of extras on this one, so if you're looking for the extras, maybe you just want to go with the standard Blu-ray, but I always go with the Criterion, because with the transfers, they usually end up being flawless. So yeah, An Autumn Afternoon. And the next one is, I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this one, Spine number 217, Tokyo Story. And this one actually happens to be loaded with extras. It has a new restoration, digital restoration, 4K. It has audio commentary from the director. It has a 2-hour documentary about the life and career of the director. So if you're into that kind of thing, you're going to love this, because there are hours of extra features on here. There's also a 40-minute tribute to the director. There is a documentary from 1988 about one of the actors in the films. And there's just so many more. This one is from 1953. It is in black and white, again in Japanese with English subtitles. But I'm really looking forward to watching this one, because again, I've heard nothing but high praise for this. And my last pickup for today's video is Spine number 942, Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life. And this is a really, really great edition. They did a really nice job with the packaging. It comes in a nice slip box, and then it is a 2-disc edition. There's a regular version of the theatrical version, and then there's an extended version, which is always kind of interesting, because sometimes you get things that they've cut out that actually make a difference in the film. And this is the artwork, how it looks front and back. And it comes with a really big essay book. I mean, it's 45 pages of essays and pictures from the movie and about the movie. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down and going through the essay book, especially after I usually do the essay book after I watch the movie, because a lot of times it will answer questions that I've had about the movie, and you know, it gives you a little more insight into what went on with the movie, behind the scenes, whatever. This one's from 2011. It is in English. It's in color. It also has a new 4K restoration. It has the extended version of the film, which I told you about. It also has Exploring the Tree of Life, a 2011 documentary. It has interviews with Jessica Chastain, who's one of the stars of the movie, and I love Jessica Chastain. I think she's fantastic. And it has video essays, interviews with critic Alex Ross about the use of music in the movies. And that was one of the things that I was thinking about doing a video on, is how music affects movies, because I think music is so important in movies, and to see that on here is really interesting to me. That would be something I would definitely watch. But those are my pickups for this start of the Criterion sale. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut away real quick, and I'm going to grab my review titles, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and I have my stack of movies for review. And the first one is Spine number 331, Late Spring by Yasujiro Ozu. And again, if I have said that name incorrectly, my apologies. But Late Spring is a very simple premise, and I'm not going to get into too many details because this is one of those films that it is really easy to ruin it. And I don't want to do anything with spoilers. But it's a very simple premise. It is about the unconditional love between a father and a daughter. We have a father who is a widower. They're living in post-war Japan, and his 27-year-old daughter still lives at home with him. And she takes care of him. She cooks, she cleans, she does his errands, she does everything for him. And he is a professor at the local university where he writes manuscripts. He has a research assistant that comes to the house and helps him do his papers, and by all accounts, they're very happy, and his daughter is very bubbly. She's a beautiful girl. The woman who plays the daughter, she's a beautiful, beautiful actress. And she's very friendly with everyone. She's approachable, and really, she would be a perfect candidate for marriage. But she has no interest in marriage. And at one point, I believe it's his sister, her aunt, kind of pulls him aside and says, listen, you know, she's 27 years old. She really should be married at this point, or at least have some marriage prospects. And the father immediately feels guilty because he says, you know, I really haven't paid attention. I haven't put enough attention into figuring out how to get her married, because they're still doing the arranged marriages at this point. And the aunt and the father kind of come up with this plan of how they're going to find a husband, an eligible bachelor for her to marry. And the aunt kind of has some ideas of people that she thinks would be appropriate for her. And then on the flip side, we have the daughter who's talking to one of her friends, and the friend says, listen, why aren't you married? You're the only one of our friends who hasn't been married. And she says, I have no interest in being married. My thing is I want to stay home and make sure my father is taken care of, because now that her mother has passed, she says, who's going to take care of him? Who's going to look after him? He wouldn't even dress himself. He wouldn't shave in the morning. So basically what we have are two people who have each other's best interest at heart, even if it means making self-sacrifice. Because the father says to the aunt, he goes, if she goes off and gets married, I am going to be lost without her, but I know she needs to go. And the daughter kind of knows that she should be married, but she can't find it in her heart to leave her father. So like I said, the aunt and the father kind of hatched this plan to get her to marry this man that they've picked out for her. And that's where the story takes us. And that's about all I can tell you without ruining it. But there are so many things that I love about this movie. It is such an emotionally layered, it is a very deep, deep movie. It's very emotional, very moving. It's a beautiful movie, and I love that they show so many of the tradition. It's such a traditional movie. Everything from how they have the tea, to the plays that they go to how they interact, how they see family, how important family is. It is just a beautiful, beautiful movie. And the picture is gorgeous. The cinematography is second to none. It is a wonderfully shot movie. It will not disappoint you. And I can tell you that the last scene of this movie, no matter how many times I watch this, it moves me to tears every single time. It is such a win. But yeah, Late Spring, I really can't recommend it enough, and I really don't think you're going to be disappointed with it. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's from 1949. It's in black and white in Japanese with English subtitles. It has a high definition restoration. Again, like I said, it looks great. It sounds great. There's some audio commentary from the New York Film Society. There is a 92-minute documentary about the director, which I haven't watched that. I think that would be really interesting. And of course, it has an essay book, which I will show you. The disc art is very basic. Just kind of has the title there. And then we have our essay book, and this is the actress who plays his daughter. I don't know if you can see it, but she is absolutely stunning. She's a beautiful young lady. And this shows you just some scenes. This is up top where they're having tea. And like I said, everything is so rooted in tradition. It's absolutely beautiful from beginning to end. Everything about it. And we have some more scenes. This is from a bike ride she takes with one of her male friends. And I mean, she has friends and she has guys that she enjoys spending time with. And yeah, it is a really beautiful movie. So yeah, Late Spring, I can't recommend it enough. And if you have not heard of it, or if you've not checked it out, definitely do a little homework and maybe put it on your list, keep it on your radar, because it's definitely worth the pickup. And this next one was actually a viewer request from the last video when I said to tell me titles that you'd be interested in. I had it in my collection, so I was happy to sit down and take a look at it. It is Spine number 260, Eyes Without a Face. And again, this is kind of a simple premise, but this one is a horror slash thriller. I would put it in the horror thriller genre. We have a young lady who has been horribly disfigured in a car accident where her father happened to be the driver. And she's very angry at him because she said he was driving like a lunatic, and she's very angry with him. Obviously, she's horribly disfigured, and she wears this plastic mask, so all you ever see are her eyes. Her father also happens to be a physician, and he has made it his life's goal to figure out how to do a successful face transplant. So what he does is he has an assistant. He sends his assistant out to find these young ladies who have similar features to his daughter. They lure them back to the house, and they knock them out, and they try to remove their faces and then put them on his daughter. And let me tell you, that's about as much as I can tell you without totally ruining the whole story. The creep factor is off the charts. There is some gore. When they do these operations, you see them trying to take someone's face off. It's really, at parts, it's unsettling, but it's supposed to be. That's what it is. And it's from 1960, and I believe that this is one of those that was ahead of its time, because it was not well received at all when they showed it. They said people were fainting, and I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I guess we're kind of desensitized by now. We're used to like the Texas Chainsaw Massacres and things like that. But back in 1960, they didn't have all that. So these people were they reacted so poorly to this film, and I believe there was only one reviewer who gave it positive marks, and there was an onslaught of negativity towards that reviewer. So yeah, this was not well received, and now look at it, it's part of the Criterion collection. But I can tell you, I think this was a fantastic film, and it definitely holds up, because I've seen films that were done later than this that don't hold up like this one does. This is a great, great movie. The storyline is great. It moves along at a good clip. I was never bored. The story unfolds at a very natural feeling pace. And there are some things that happen and things that go on in the house besides what he's doing with these girls that they're capturing. And it ties in with the ending. And what I can tell you about the ending, and you'll know it when you see it, if you watch the movie, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The ending of this movie is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what it should be. But yeah, this really, it really examines the father's problems with being in control and manipulating, and his whole this whole idea of patriarchy. And it's just, there's a lot of layers going on in this one too. This is definitely a layered film, but the relationship between he and his daughter is not a good one. It's a very contentious relationship, and there's a lot of issues going on. And if you watch this and you think that his assistant looks familiar, it's because she actually also starred in Dario Argento's 1970 film Suspiria. So that'll be a familiar face if you decide to check this one out. But yeah, I hear there's a lot of hype around this one, and I would definitely say it lives up to the hype. And to the person who requested that I review it, I hope that this has helped you make your decision. And I would say yes, go ahead. It's definitely a go. Give it a buy. It's definitely worth the pickup. And if you like horror and you like thriller, you guys are really gonna love this one. So yeah, Eyes Without a Face, it's a good one. And it has a high definition digital restoration. It has a documentary called The Blood of the Beast, which is about the slaughterhouses of Paris, which will make more sense after you see the movie. There's interviews about the horror genre and cinema and making of The Blood of the Beast, which is the documentary about the slaughterhouses. There are interviews with actors. There's excerpts from the documentary about the writer who wrote Eyes Without a Face. So there's a lot of extras in this one that are pretty interesting. I'm actually think I'm going to go back and watch them. And then, of course, it comes with an essay book. It has some nice interior artwork. I like the black and pink theme. I think it works. It really works for this movie. And the disc work is just, the artwork on the disc is just very simple. It's just writing. But then, like I said, you have an essay book. It's about 20 something pages. Yeah, it's about 20 pages. But they talk about appearance. They talk about the importance of appearance. They show, here's a picture. That's what the daughter looks like with the mask on. Hopefully you can see that. And yeah, there's this is a scene from the operating room. It is not pretty what goes on. And the operating room is in the basement of the house. It is so creepy and so unsettling. But yeah, this one, it's a good one. I'm really happy that it was requested, because it gave me the nudge that I needed to sit down and watch it. And this one did not disappoint. So yeah, Eyes Without a Face, it's definitely worth the pickup. And this next one, this is a more recent release in the collection. It is Spine number 945. Sidney Poitier stars in A Raisin in the Sun. And this was actually based on a play. And I'm just going to read from the back. It says, Lorraine Hansberry's immortal A Raisin in the Sun was the first play by a black woman to be performed on Broadway. And 2 years later, the production came to the screen, and it became a movie. And Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee were actually part of the original play, and they also star in this movie. And basically what this is we have a family they're living in a very small, cramped apartment where the mother and father had lived for, I think they said 35 years. And they've lived there, and it's maybe one or two, I think it's 2 bedrooms, and then they have a living room where they can close sliding doors, and they have, the son lives there with his wife and their young son, and then the daughter lives there, and the mother lives there. So they're all living in this tiny little space. The father has passed away, and they are waiting on his insurance check to come through, and they all have plans. The gist of the story is they all have plans of how they think the money should be spent. Meanwhile, it's the mother's money, and it's her decision to make. The son is very much a dreamer, and he doesn't want to be considered a servant. He doesn't want to wait on people. He works at someone's house where he drives them around, he cleans his cars, he does whatever he wants, whatever the guy asks him to do. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to get into this liquor business. I believe he wants to open a bar with a bunch of his friends who aren't really that trustworthy. They're not the greatest guys, but he wants his mother to give him some money to back him in a business venture, because he has these dreams of what kind of man he wants to be. Meanwhile, he's having trouble with his wife, and he doesn't really pay that much attention to his son, and there's a whole side story going on there. And then we have the daughter, who is in medical school, and she's kind of hoping that the mom will help pay part of her tuition, but she's also involved in all kinds of crazy things. She's an activist, and one minute she wants to play a musical instrument, then she wants to do horseback riding. She's involved in all kinds of things and all kinds of activism, and she seems to go in a lot of different directions. So she's kind of a dreamer too. And here we have the mother, who's completely anchored, and she's just watching all this go on around her, and she has her own plans with what she thinks she wants to do with the money. And all she wants to do is make a better life for her family. And I'm not going to get into how she thinks she's going to do this or what happens, but what I can tell you is this is a really wonderful movie about family and the importance of taking care of each other. And if you like movies that feel like plays, like for instance Fences, you're really going to enjoy this one. I thought this was really well done. The dialogue is on point. The actors and actresses do a phenomenal job. Everything about this movie works. And this was around the time when the civil rights stuff was going on, and some of the things that people say and do in this movie, I can't even believe that the words came out of their mouth. It was shocking and unsettling, but it's real. It's really the way things were, and it's a real sad look at some of the reality that was going on at the time, but it's important. It's an important film. But yeah, if you like films that feel like plays, it kind of all takes place in the one apartment. There's maybe a few times where they go out and they go to a house, and I think the son goes to a bar to meet a few friends. But other than that, the whole thing takes place in this apartment. But it's a really, really good look at the family dynamics in this time period, especially for a black family and how they were living. But it's from 1961. It's in black and white, and it has a 1.85 aspect ratio, so it fills up the screen nice. It is a 4K digital transfer. It looks amazing. It's so crystal clear. It looks beautiful. There's interviews from 1961 with the playwright Lorraine Hansberry. I haven't watched that, but I plan to. And there's a bunch of things. There's interviews with Philip Rose and Ruby Dee, producer Philip Rose and actor Ruby Dee. But there's a whole bunch of extras, and there's also an essay book. So we'll take a look at that. You have your essay book here. And it's about 24 pages, and here's Lorraine. This is a really good one. And I love plays that are made into movies that still feel like plays. And this one just works because you can just feel how cramped they are in this tiny little space, and that they just have to make it work because that's their reality. They don't have anywhere to go. They don't have the money to go anywhere else at the time. And there's some more. And it's just funny because how the daughter comes home, and every time she comes home, she's got this new elaborate plan that she's involved with, and all these new causes, but yet she wants to be a doctor, and she's all over the place. And then the disc art is just simple, A Raisin in the Sun. Yeah, so this is a good one, and I'm really happy that they added it to the collection. I'm really happy that I have it in my collection, and I would definitely say to give it a look, to add it to your collection. So yes, Raisin in the Sun is definitely a good one. Okay, so those are my reviews, and hopefully you guys found those helpful and informative, and it will help you with your shopping and your pickup choices. And again, if there are any films that you guys are really interested in and you want me to review, please leave them in the comments, and if I have them in my collection, I am happy to do them for you. So let's talk giveaway. I promised you guys a giveaway, and here's the situation. I ordered a film from Criterion, and they sent me 2 copies. They told me to keep both and to donate or do what I wanted with the second copy. So what I've decided to do is give it to one of you. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave me a comment letting me know that you want to be entered in the giveaway. And what I'm going to do is next Monday, November 19th, I will do a video where I will draw a name out of a hat, and that will be the winner of the giveaway. And the title that I'm giving away is A Raisin in the Sun. It is brand new, factory sealed, never been opened. So if you're interested in having this in your collection, just leave me a comment telling me to enter you in the giveaway, and you're in. That's it. No strings attached. It's just my way of saying thank you. And I want to thank you guys, as always, for being here and watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified when I upload my videos. And I'm going to be back real soon, and I have some pretty cool stuff planned for you guys this month. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. So for now, that's a wrap.